Welcome back, Brickmaniacs, to another SitRep episode here on Brickmania TV. We are once again going over the releases for the month of November. We're going to take a look back at the month of October, and then we're going to cover some of the events and stuff we did, as well as our upcoming stuff as well. But first, since it's the most exciting part of this episode, let's just do a quick rundown of everything that is going to be released in November. So the first one we're going to start with is the M18 Hellcat. That will be the earliest November release. Pretty cool looking little tank destroyer here. We'll get more into that later. Then we also have Tiger 131, which is right here. This is the product of the group's trip to the Bovington Tank Museum. Then we are also looking at the Centurion MK3.
Yes. Centurion over here.
Yeah, which is a cool British tank. And then we also have the Battle of Mogadishu Army Ranger.
And that is the minifigure of the month as well.
Minifigure of the month for November, so make sure you get those during this month as well. And then obviously the Blackbird in the room, the SR-71 Blackbird. Really cool, exciting announcement coming up.
This is quite the lineup.
At the end of this episode about this, so make sure you stay tuned for that, because trust me, you are going to want to hear it. But before we take a closer look at that, we're going to link up with Slam and go over these the month of October's past releases. Hey Brickmaniacs, I'm here with Slam, and we're going to go over Brickmania's releases for the month of October. So we started off October in a big way, one of the biggest ways we've ever built, except it was in a different scale than we normally build in, but still bigger. I'm talking about the USS Johnston Destroyer.
Oh yeah,
Slam, what an epic release. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on that.
I thought that was a very cool kit. Totally different scale, smaller scale than we normally work on. But
196, right?
196.
Yeah.
Yep. And just a really cool build. 3 distinct sections. It made instruction building a little bit tough, because you're dealing with this super long 3-foot model. Wait, 6 foot? How long is that thing?
4 feet.
4 foot
like
long model. Yeah, stretching across big 11 by 17 sheets. Anyways, yeah, it was cool. Good project. Kind
of cool that it started off as a project for the U.S. Navy too. I mean, just everything that was involved in it. I mean, it was pretty cool to see it come to fruition.
That's
very cool. In that same week, we also had the Gebers Flak 38, which was a cool little anti-aircraft gun. Yep. Kind of one of those smaller kits, but at the same time, just a really unique piece of artillery.
Yeah, super portable, right? This is something that you can just have a bunch of guys carry up the mountainside and then like shoot down planes with. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
well, and who would have been carrying that but the minifigure for the month of October, and that would have been the World War II German Geburtsjäger. 3D printed hat, which was really cool. Texture printed boots to show off those climbing spikes. Just all over a really involved minifigure.
Yeah, that guy was grizzly, right? Facial hair,
the scarf,
the hat. Yeah, he was ready for cold weather, which we know a lot about here. Yeah.
Climbing up the mountains on the Eastern Front. Yeah,
which we don't know a lot about.
No, or walking through the streets of a snowy day in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah. No, Landon did a great job on that guy. He was cool. Yeah, very popular. Yeah.
Well, and as if we couldn't have one-upped ourselves anymore starting off the month like that, then we totally did with one of our first officially licensed Lockheed Martin kits, and that's the F-22 Raptor. Absolutely huge, awesome animation that went with us.
The crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
F-22 is such a cool plane. Such a cool plane. Cody did a great job on that, knocked it out of the park. Yeah.
Well, then you remember seeing it at EAA, hearing it, watching it daily.
Yeah, I got to stand fairly close to one. That was cool. That was the plane that can pull such incredible maneuvers of just stopping in midair and floating. Yeah, that business is crazy.
Yeah.
And I got to do all the stickers for that one. So we did 3 different unit markings, tail flash pieces for that.
Sweet.
Not that plane ever gets flashy per se, but because it's super subdued, and yeah.
Was that another one where the scale surprised you? Because I remember we saw them at EAA, and yet still I was blown away by the size of the model.
That looking up at tiny little planes in the air, like there was always the question of, is that an F-35 or an F-22? And they do have totally different silhouettes, but the key there is that the F-22 has like double the wing surface of the F-35. It's a much bigger plane.
Yeah, right. And then the same week as the F-22, one of our more involved mini kits was released, the M274 Mule, cool 3D printed breech and stuff that went with that, and then the tracer barrel, or the gun on the barrel.
Like the aiming rifle.
Yeah, right. The tracer.
Marking rifle.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Spotting rifle. Thank you, camera guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Camera guy comes through with the spotting rifle on the M274 Mule. Yeah.
But we 3D printed both those, and the mule is just a fun little vehicle anyways.
Crazy little platform truck. You could like drive it in reverse and flip the thing. I mean, just a whole bunch of cool stuff that you can do with that.
Yeah. The week that came out, I mean, we were doing research on that, and you can buy one, but they're like $7 or $8 grand. Like, if you want to buy a real one.
Oh wow.
Without the cannon.
I was going to say, does it come with the M40 recoilless rifle or whatever?
And all I want to do is tool around in my backyard with it. You know, like it's fine, but.
Oh, that sounds so.
But what a great little vehicle.
Well, and speaking of tooling around in your backyard, what would have been cooler to tool around with than the next week's new release, which was the M51 Super Sherman. Once again, a super involved kit in that awesome dark tan. Just a cool model in general. 3D printed barrel and muzzle brake. I'm pretty sure that's the only time that muzzle brake was ever used ever.
Right, and so that Brickmania kit was just a beautiful kit because of just that dark tan. We don't usually have enough dark tan to build a entire model with. It was solid. Like picking that up, it was just dense. Like it was a very solid build, and just a cool vehicle. Like 25 years after the Sherman was done with, right?
Sure.
Here's the Israeli taking Shermans and turning them into like a super competent vehicle, right? Like that can stand up to all the modern, or at the time modern Soviet stuff.
Went toe to toe with it. I mean, the proof is in the
pudding. Came out on head. Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah.
I got to do all the stickers for that, so we set it up with some Israeli markings. I worked on the minifigure a little bit on that one too, revamping some old artwork into a minifig for that.
That was the Yitzy minifig, right?
That was a Yitzy face, yeah. Not a one-for-one Yitzy, but inspired by Yitzy.
Very
face.
Cool.
Got to work on that, yeah.
And then that same week, we had the Kurogane Type 95, which is the little Japanese staff car. Did some work on this one as well.
And this is a second vehicle that I'd love to tool around with in my backyard. These are not for sale. You cannot find them anywhere.
Sure.
Like there's very few surviving ones, but yeah, can I talk about how cool this vehicle is again?
Go for it.
That thing had a V-twin engine in the front, a hand cranked to start V-twin air-cooled engine. Which is why you probably can't find these anymore. Anybody who would have found these back in the 50s and 60s would have taken them apart and built monster motorcycles around that engine, right? So, but the thing is, four-wheel drive. It was one of the first production vehicles in the world to be four-wheel drive, and it was and it had style. Like it had that 1930s Japanese style when they were trying to like mimic all the Western industrial design out there.
Sure.
So, I love that one. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome mini kit. Then the following week we had another mini kit, but first let's talk about the big release of that week, and that was the MH60L Blackhawk. Have had 2 batches of pre-orders go through on that bad boy already. Not difficult to see why. It is an awesome kit. Obviously comes from one of the most prolific events in U.S. military history. Talk to me a little bit about the Blackhawk.
It's a black helicopter, my friend. So, yeah, that guy's black, and it's a spec ops helicopter, so it was really hard to do research on it. I mean, there is a surviving, actually the surviving helicopter, the Super 68 that we made our model based on, is in a museum, one of the museums out there,
sure,
the U.S. military museums. So it still exists, but that thing crashed, I think they said twice, and they rebuilt it both times and flew it again. So, anyways, the Blackhawk is an awesome helicopter, and what a fun research project it was to read up on that. Doing stickers and printed parts for that was really fun again. I got to do a sweet center console. And again, not finding a whole lot of cockpit shots of that particular helicopter because spec ops. But yeah, so yeah, it was a cool project. I think those are going to keep selling forever. I think people will always be drawn to that helicopter.
Yeah.
Especially when you start loading it up with your spec ops minifigs, right?
Yep.
And all
or your
extra,
Ranger minifigs.
Or your Ranger minifigs and all your gear. Yeah, I think it's going to continue to do really well.
Officially licensed by Sikorsky, and a very, very cool release. Also, that same week, we released the UTV ultralight tactical vehicle, which is kind of like something that you could still today drive around in your backyard, but would definitely not maybe bristling with as many brick arms as some people would put on.
Yeah, so the UTV, you can actually buy a brand new one of those. I think 2 mil spec. Those are made by Polaris originally. Company based just north of here, and I don't know. It's a great little vehicle, like super versatile. It kind of replaces the mule in some respects, but a lot faster than a mule. So like it's a great vehicle to load 4 guys into and get in and out of trouble with.
Yeah, right.
Really quickly. I imagine that there aren't a whole lot of guys, military guys out there that like carrying their gear.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, get a UTV, have it carry your gear.
Have it carry your gear.
Yeah, and have extra.
Well, and I love how much customization you can do with that kit too. It's just it's a fun little kit that you can do a lot with. So
yeah.
And then finally, the last release for the month of October is the CH53 Super Stallion, which we do have sitting in front of us here. Huge scale to this kit, obviously. Comes with a lot of cool stuff. Definitely a bunch of fun little moving features and stuff like that. Comes with a crew. A crew, I think, of actually 4, but it comes with 5 minifigs because it's got a little guy that rides in his boat there as well. There's a lot going on with this model.
There's a lot going on. Cody knocked it out of the park with this one as well. He had to up his rotor game from 6 to 7 with the Super Stallion. Yeah, it's got the drop-down hatch. This really interesting 30-degree angle on the tail, and yeah, it's a beautiful kit. You can fit a lot of stuff in this, including the boat that it comes with. I got to do the decals on it, so we've got all the rescue arrows and the jet exhaust warnings, Marine standard. Yeah, and a couple of 3D printed parts too, or not 3D printed, just printed parts. We've got the shaft dispenser, which is a new piece of art, and we've got some new interior components for this one as well that are printed. But and the windows we printed on the side windows as well.
Oh yeah, sure, very cool. Getting kind of that more
subtle,
oval shape.
But yep, gives it that oval shape.
Very detailed. Yeah, that's awesome.
But what a beast of a helicopter.
A good way to end the month, to say the least. So that was our final pre-order as well. And then kind of capping off the month in style. So that goes over everything that we released for the month of October. Coming up next year, we're going to actually sit down and chat with Lando about his trip to Bovington and just a little bit more about what went on with the Tank Museum. All right, that was a cool look back at the initial kit releases for the month of October. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the cool event that we went to for the month of October, and that was the visit to the Tank Museum in Bovington, UK. So I'm here with Lando. He's going to go over some of that stuff. So I guess let's just start off. What was your initial reaction when you walked into the Tank Museum?
Oh man, it is an unbelievable collection of tanks that they have, and they did such a nice, wonderful job displaying them all in a really well laid out fashion. I guess backing up, first of all, thank you so much to the Tank Museum and Beyond the Brick for inviting us out for that project. That was a ton of fun. So we have a whole bunch of pictures and footage, and they're both those YouTube channels are releasing videos based on our time there. So, but that was just a blast. So I'm excited to see future projects and whatever. Obviously the 131, that's a collaboration that we're making with the museum there. So. Really cool.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question? I was kind of jumping around.
No,
there.
it's totally fine. It's cool too to be able to because of the way Beyond the Brick releases their content. It's like kind of new stuff every other day or week or whatever, at least featured from our stuff. So make sure to jump over to Beyond the Brick on their YouTube channel and just check out as they kind of start to release more of that content. And that brings me to my next question. How was it just kind of collaborating with two other channels that probably without Brickmania never would have met each other, but because we exist, made kind of for a nice collaboration?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but for those of you that don't know, John and Josh from Beyond the Brick got a hold of us, and they're talking to Dan, and they're like, hey, we're going to be going out to the Tank Museum out in Bovington, and we want to do some filming with their tanks, but we're Lego and their channel is military tanks. So we kind of bridged that gap and did some filming with them. It was a lot of fun. They're a really nice crew on both parties. So it was just a ton of fun to just film with them, check out tanks, and talk about Lego. It's cool stuff.
Was there a pretty good blend of Brickmania fans and just kind of tank enthusiasts in general at the meet and greet?
So yeah, the meet and greet was nice. It was a weekday, kind of middle of the day, so it wasn't like a crazy huge crowd. A lot of people I know, we heard on social media that, oh, I can't make it because I'm in school or something, but for some people who maybe called in sick to school and got to show up, it was cool. It was awesome just meeting some fans there and some diehard fans. We always appreciate that. It's it's the diehard fans that let us do what we do, and so thank you for coming out. Thank you for it's cool meeting people in person. So, and that was right in front of, we did the meet and greet right in front of the Fury tank from the movie, and 131. So they're like just side by side, and it's kind of like unreal. Like I'm used to seeing things on the computer screen or in a Lego model, but it's really it makes it so much more tangible to just be right next to the actual vehicles that kind of inspire what we do. So,
were there any comments on just kind of the collaboration, like, oh, the long time coming, finally you guys made it to the Tank Museum? What were their thoughts on just all three of you guys being there at once?
It is a pretty crazy mix to, I was watching a lot of the filming, and to see David from the Tank Museum next to Josh from Beyond the Brick, next to Dan, next to Cody, it was kind of like, that's the ultimate combination of military Lego right there. So there's going to be some awesome videos coming out down the road on both those channels.
Very cool. Well, and just seeing everything, especially in that, like, was it the warehouse or the repair area, did it just kind of give you a new appreciation for the crazy amount of variants of different kind of tanks?
Yeah, I mean, they had this like overflow storage room that it was this huge room that, as far as you could see, just tanks waiting to be restored, and that was just like their storage area. Their showroom floor is really amazing, and it's not like they did a good job not jam packing it as full of tanks as possible. They actually, they let you walk around completely some of these more notable models, and from my understanding, they kind of rotate out their collection every now and then, and they do a really good job presenting it and letting you kind of read about the different vehicles on display. And so hats off to their museum curator there. So they did a wonderful job. So.
Without giving away too much with the videos that have yet to be released yet, what is kind of the content or the moment that you guys filmed that you were like, oh man, I cannot wait for this to hit the web?
Okay, it was cool seeing the Churchill crocodile, actually. The flamethrower, the British flamethrower tank, because that's right in the middle of their museum floor, and so and we had the model. They're like identical, right? Obviously, but it was just really cool seeing again David from the Tank Museum and Josh and Cody going over that. We were all kind of hanging out next to this tank. It was super fun filming that one. Among other ones, there was quite a few that we filmed. So,
very cool. Once again, you can check out those videos on Beyond the Brick on YouTube. More hopefully to be released, and then
as well as the Tank Museum, yeah.
Oh, as well as the Tank Museum, yeah. Right? Both those channels, and then obviously we are releasing the officially relicensed Tiger 131 kit that is available on pre-order on Brickmania.com. So my last question for you: obviously, you have a pretty sizable knowledge of military history, tanks, etc., vehicles, right? But what was your favorite thing you saw over there that you had no idea existed beforehand?
Favorite thing I saw over there that I had no idea that existed. Give me a second.
Or maybe didn't look the way you expected to. Something new that you experienced.
There was a really cool blacked out Renault that was on the floor. So I don't know if it was actually that dark in real life. I think David was saying in a comment, it was gray when I first saw it. I was like, oh, maybe he's right. I don't know if he was in World War I, so maybe that's whatever. But it was. I'm trying to think of all the different. It's kind of overwhelming.
Sure.
All the different models that were there. What was the question one more time?
Just your favorite new tank.
My favorite new tank. I'm gonna have to go with that blacked out Renault. That was really cool. It just stood out to me. So, yeah.
All right, fantastic.
Nothing that crazy, not like whatever, but blacked out Renault was cool.
Cool. Well, obviously, it looks like a successful trip. We're excited to see what more content comes out of that. But now we're going to the moment you guys have been waiting for. We are going to go over the pre-orders for the month of November. So stay tuned for that. All right, now we get to the point of the SitRep for the long-awaited discussion of the November pre-orders. So once again, to clarify, all the models we have sitting in front of us are available on pre-order for the month of November online on Brickmania.com right now. Also, all the models sitting in front of us are prototypes. So
Yes.
there are some variations into what the actual thing that you will receive is. But other than that, this is what you can expect.
They're pretty close to
from
final,
Brickmania.
but yeah, there's a few changes that will be on here and there. So
Yeah, right. So.
yeah, which one do you want to do?
All right, so let's start with the early week, and that is the M18 Hellcat right here. It comes with 2 custom minifigures, which is pretty cool.
2 full 360 printed minifigures.
Love how swooshable and sturdy this model is. A really cool tank destroyer, played a really significant role in the Battle of the Bulge. Just all in all, really cool looking Brickmania kit. Good solid little build, and definitely one that is an awesome addition to the collection. So
Yes.
that is a very cool release. Make sure to stay tuned for that. Also, this is one of the kits that we are hoping to be able to restock. Not quite sure on the timelines for it, but this will be a kit that we will bring back throughout the course of these years. The next kit that we have is one that you're very familiar with because you got to stand next to the actual
That
thing
was
itself,
awesome.
and that is Tiger 131, officially licensed by the Bovington Tank Museum.
Yes.
Ah,
The Tank Museum in Bovington.
yes, correct. The Tank Museum.
So this is the Tiger 131, captured in Tunisia. It was unbelievably cool to see this thing side by side with the real Tiger 131. So we're very excited to have this collaboration with the museum, and it's such a cool kit. So this is decked out in the North Africa camouflage and paint scheme. And there is actually a minifigure that will be included with this one in that North Africa uniform as well.
So, and then it also has a fully designed interior. The 3D printed muzzle brake that'll come with it will be in the same camo scheme.
Yeah, it's either in tan or dark tan.
Tan or dark tan?
Yeah.
Okay. And then also available that same week will be the Tiger Crew Pack. So, as Landon said, it does come with that custom minifigure, but then if you want to add an additional crew because there's the awesome interior in this thing, we will have a crew pack available.
And that crew pack is more of I guess we love the movie Fury, so it's kind of inspired by some Hollywood stuff. It's really just based off of a whole bunch of different German stuff at the time. So
Sure.
that's more of a European theater crew pack, whereas the 131, that was North Africa. So
Still cool. Lets you take advantage of the playability of the model, so that's a cool thing. There are a couple opening hatches on front, and then once again that awesome interior. So make sure to stay tuned for that. This will also be one of the kits that we will try to restock whenever possible. But don't let that dissuade you from getting on that first batch, because then you can be one of the first to have it. So that is available on pre-order right now as well. Also available is the Centurion MK3. This one is a one-off. So this tank will be released once and then not again. So if this is one of the models sitting here that you really want to get on, make sure you do that, because it will not be restocked, but will be available for pre-order. So make sure to take advantage of that. John Canepa designed this one. Crazy looking turret. A lot of angling going into that. So good job on John for really capturing that look, because it is that is an intensive build. I love the low profile of the tank. It'll also come with some cool printed elements, like a picture of the Queen in a tea set and that kind of stuff too. So,
did he get that through? Wow, yeah.
He threw some Easter eggs in there for you. So,
a full 360 printed minifigures in this one as well.
With it, wow, okay, well, and what a great transition into the minifigure of the month, which is the U.S. Army Ranger from the Battle of Mogadishu.
Yes, 93 Battle of Mogadishu.
360 printed on the head and torso. Why don't you go over some of the details?
So our guys in the print shop will be making this minifigure all month, but only this month, and then after that we are retiring the figure, and so this is your chance to get this minifigure of the month, right? Battle of Mogadishu 93, so this is decked out in kind of a transitional uniform here, where you can see 3 different camouflage patterns. You have the desert, 3-color desert, 6-color chocolate chip, and the woodland on that ranger vest. Really cool. This is just fresh off the printers here today. I'll take this helmet off. This is a full 360 printed head. I have not seen this done anywhere before. Very excited for this. So that helmet, the goggle strap goes all the way around the head, the chin strap goes all the way up the sides, and there's a little bit, he's got like a shaved head there, a little bit of a buzz cut, so some stubble kind of going on there. Really, it's just unlike anything. So this is, again, minifigure of the month. This is an update of some, one of my first minifigures, 360 printed minifigures that I ever did. This is updated to kind of a more modern artwork standard. So Yeah, I'm super excited for this minifigure. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, really cool too, because if you were able to pick up one of our Blackhawks, which was released during the month of October, or if you scooped up the UTV, the ultralight tactical vehicle, Army Ranger goes perfect with both those. I mean, you can either crew out your entire Blackhawk, or you can have several of them crammed into a UTV going on some covert mission. So that's a really cool little minifigure, and goes with a lot of different kits, and then obviously your own custom creations as well. I mean, there's no end. So that's pretty sweet. Okay. Well, it wouldn't be a complete episode if we didn't get to this gigantic model in the middle of the
secret missions.
Yeah, in the middle of the table here. So let's go ahead and flip this around for a little profile view. Huh? There's nothing
We
over there.
are
I'm gonna
super
bump into.
excited for this officially licensed kit.
Yes, the officially licensed Lockheed Martin SR-71 Blackbird. So obviously the thing that you notice about it is just the crazy scale of it all.
Right.
Before Landon gets into some of the cool details that he knows about this kit, if any, I just want to say, so the cool announcement that we were waiting for at the beginning of this, Brickmania is going to be giving away 3 of these bad boys. We are giving away 3 SR-71 Blackbirds.
I want one.
So the way you can win your SR-71 Blackbird is this. You're going to want to pay attention here. So each one of our locations is going to be giving away an SR-71 in a contest that is going to run, or it's just a drawing, to be honest, that's going to run from November 8th to December 1st. You can register with a little card at each one of our locations. So that's the GHQ here in Minneapolis, the Chantilly location in Virginia, and the Chicago store in Schaumburg. And once again, that drawing is going to run November 8th through December 1st. 1 entry per day for an 18-year-old adult. So that is the only limitations on the contest. Otherwise, each location will be giving away their own
That is unbelievable.
thing.
Yes.
That's probably the coolest and biggest giveaway that I think Brickmania has ever done.
And we're super excited to be opening these new locations as well. So this is kind of like a celebration of these new stores opening up across the country. And what better way to kick off some of these locations than giving away an SR-71? Very cool. People have been asking for this kit since pretty much as long as Brickmania has been in existence, right? And for the longest time, it's like there's no way we could do this kind of a kit. It's way too big. It's way too. It's just crazy. But it's cool that we finally assembled the right team that we could pull this thing off. And it's officially licensed, which is even cooler.
Well, and like he does with all his models, Cody really knocked this one out of the park. Just being able to bring the scale of something like this into that 1/35th that Brickmania works with is incredibly impressive. For being made out of blocks, it's pretty unbelievable how sleek it is.
Yes.
He really captured that shape. And make sure to tune into that Designer's Desk video when it's released for him to kind of go over some of the cool history behind the Blackbird, because it really was the most innovative aircraft of its time, and still remains one of the most innovative aircraft ever created today. Mach 3 at 85,000 feet. That is incredible. So
Mach 3 is they probably go quite a bit faster than that. Actually, they're not. Who knows what they're telling us?
Yeah, well,
3.5, 4,
no kidding.
who knows?
So that's on the Lockheed website. They say it goes Mach 3 at 85,000 feet.
Okay, yeah, maybe
so
there's a specific height.
We'll use what the licensees or the official creators have said about that. So that is a pretty impressive kit. So once again, these are all of the pre-orders for the month of November. Make sure to take advantage of that. Nebraska Brick Days is November 22nd through the 24th, 23rd and 24th. So make sure to stop by our booth there. We'll have a whole bunch of new kits and stuff available as well. That's a pretty fun time. This weekend we're at Brick Fair, New Jersey. So come play some micro brick battle. Swing by, check out some of our new kits there as well. We've got a good crew up there as well. And then our Chantilly store, the grand opening date for that will be November 29th through December 1st. So Dan will be there, a couple other designers. Make sure to swing down and check out the festivities for that as well. We'll have more details on stuff like that coming out over this next month, but just so you know now, November 29th through December 1st, that is the grand opening for the Chantilly location. And then if you're in the Chicago area, that store is already open, so make sure you go check that one out because it is awesome as well. With that is everything we have for this SitRep episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.